In today's episode of the Giraldo Show, we're going to be going a little bit away from politics, and we're going to be talking about Alex Trebek and a positive message that was spread on Jeopardy on Monday night, and Donald Trump recounting a heroic victory for veterans on Veterans Day. My name is Sebastian Giraldo, and you are listening to the Giraldo Show. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Giraldo Show. I am your host, Sebastian Giraldo. Let's go ahead and get right into the stories of the day. Again, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode just because impeachment is going on, but I feel like if I have every episode be on impeachment, it gets a little bit boring. So we're going to go a little bit away from politics on today's episode. We're going to talk about two stories, one concerning Alex Trebek, the host of Jeopardy, and one about a heroic story of a battle from the Battle of the Bulge on the Veterans Day tribute, as yesterday was Veterans Day. I had other stories in place, so I'm going to go ahead and give you some Veterans Day stories, specifically this one for today's episode. But first off, let's start with Alex Trebek. So Jeopardy, one of my favorite shows, just because I like trivia. I like to see people battle each other when it comes to trivia, see who's the smartest, and actually win money. It's actually a good cause. Alex Trebek, good host. I really like him. He's a pretty funny guy. And there's actually, on Monday night, I didn't watch the episode, but I saw the highlights of the episode. One of the contestants in the Final Jeopardy had a message for Alex Trebek because he didn't know the answer to the Final Jeopardy round. So here we go with the story. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek fought back tears during Monday's episode of the show after a contestant made a touching gesture to him during the closing round of the show. This is according to the Daily Wire. Contestant Dhruv Gaur, who is competing in Jeopardy's annual Tournament of Champions, did not know what the answer to the Final Jeopardy question was and decided to write instead, "We love you, Alex." Trebek was moved by the gesture, saying, "That's very kind, thank you." The answer that he gave, which is incorrect, cost him almost all of his money, $1,995. In the article, there is a video that shows the event happening, and it's a pretty touching moment. I'll go ahead and link to the article and then the video in the description of the episode so you can listen in on what it is. So the reason that the contestant had this message put in was because Alex Trebek was, back in March, he announced that he was diagnosed with cancer. So here's what Trebek said. "I have some news to share with all of you, and it's in keeping with my longtime policy of being open and transparent with our Jeopardy fan base. I also want to prevent you from reading or hearing some overblown or inaccurate reports regarding my health. So therefore, I wanted to be the one to pass along this information. Just like 50,000 other people in the United States each year, this week I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Now normally, the prognosis for this is not very encouraging, but I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to keep working. And with the love and support of my family and friends, and with the help of your prayers also, I plan to beat the low survival rate statistics for this disease." So again, this was back in March. It's November right now, so he seems like he's doing okay. He's still hosting Jeopardy, so it looks like he's doing a pretty decent job with what stage 4. It's pretty advanced in the cancer stages, especially with pancreatic cancer. I think that's, again, prayers up to Alex Trebek. Hopefully he just gets a lot better. Truth told, I have to, because under the terms of my contract, I have to host Jeopardy for 3 more years. That's what Alex Trebek was joking at that time, and the audience gave a little bit of a laugh. So help me. Keep the faith, and we'll win. We'll get it done. Thank you. And just 2 months later, Alex Trebek did announce that his cancer had gone away. So incredible. 2 months after, his cancer, that was stage 4 pancreatic cancer, had just magically, as if by magic, gone away, and it was a huge miracle for Alex Trebek. He said, quote, "It's kind of mind-boggling. The doctors said they hadn't seen this kind of positive result in their memory. Some of the tumors have already shrunk by more than 50%. Again, incredible news from Alex Trebek. "I've got a couple million people out there who have expressed their good thoughts, their positive energy directed towards me, and their prayers. I told the doctors, this has to be more than just a chemo, and they agreed it could very well be an important part of this. I've got a lot of love out there headed in my direction and a lot of prayer, and I will never ever minimize the value of that." So again, Trebek showing a religious side there, showing why prayer and the belief in God is good. And that's a bit of my opinion. I think religion is good to have. I think actually believing that there is no creator and that all of this, what we have right now, happened just by randomness or by something else, I think it's harder to believe in that than to believe that some creator made this earth. Whatever creator you want to believe in, I think it's easier to believe that some omnipotent being created this earth rather than just believing it happened by randomness. So in September, unfortunately, Trebek revealed that the cancer had returned and he was going to have to resume treatment. Trebek said, "I was doing so well, and my numbers went down to the equivalent of a normal human being who does not have pancreatic cancer. So we were all very optimistic. And they said, good, we're going to stop chemo. We'll start you on immunotherapy. I lost about 12 pounds in a week. Very unhealthy, just for anyone who doesn't know. Very unhealthy to lose 12 pounds in a singular week. And my numbers went sky high, much higher than they were when I was first diagnosed. So the doctors have decided that I have to undergo chemo again, and that's what I'm doing." Trebek added, saying, "As long as I can walk out and greet the audience and the contestants and run the game, I'm happy." So again, Trebek unfortunately has the cancer once again, so big prayers out to him. I hope that my audience can pray for Alex Trebek to see that his treatment goes well and that, like in September, his cancer can go away, or not in September, a couple months after May, he announced his cancer had gone away. Hopefully that can happen once again. So prayers out to Alex Trebek. Hopefully everyone in the audience can do the prayer as well, and hopefully at least keep good thoughts if you don't have a certain religion that you are a part of. All right, next story and last story of the day. It's a Veterans Day story. I didn't say it, but happy Veterans Day yesterday to all of the veterans out there. Thank you so much for your support and for your service, I should have said first. Your service to this country has been incredible, brave, just incredibly brave. Something that I personally don't know if I could ever do. And these people show that they volunteer and do the right thing, and they help serve and they help protect this country. So I have huge respect for the military, for police, for pretty much anyone that keeps us safe, and especially veterans who in the past were soldiers and now, unfortunately, maybe not in their best situations, but that's why it's such a good thing from this administration. The Trump administration is really positive on veterans and trying to help veterans get back to a stable position. But yesterday, during a Veterans Day tribute, President Trump recounted an historic story from the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. So, according to the Daily Wire, President Donald Trump recounted a heroic event from the Battle of the Bulge during World War II, where a group of over 1,000 captured American soldiers, all identified as being Jewish, when they were captured by the Nazis, which prevented the Nazis from singling out and killing the actual Jewish soldiers in the group. So again, obviously Nazis, horrible, terrible people, wanted to kill the Jewish population. Very heroic recount here. Over 1,000 soldiers saying that they are all Jewish to try to keep the actual Jewish soldiers from being murdered. That's very brave. It's something that you don't think that you can do, but maybe in the moment you have that heroic moment and you want to help out a fellow soldier. So President Trump said during the New York City Veterans Day Parade on Monday, "In a few weeks we will mark the 75th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge, our nation's bloodiest battle of World War II. More than 47,000 Americans were wounded, and 19,000 gave their last breath for their country." Here with us today is Lauren Matthews, the granddaughter of a Battle of the Bulge veteran who has since passed away. His name was Master Sergeant Roddy Edmonds. Like so many of our veterans, Roddy never talked about the war. Lauren never knew her grandfather's story until she embarked upon a school project about 10 years ago. Roddy was in the 422nd Regiment, which is overwhelmed when the Nazis launched their surprise assault. He and his men fought for 3 treacherous days before being taken as prisoners of war. So we have the granddaughter of Roddy Edmonds, a heroic veteran. So all veterans, in my opinion, are pretty heroic. And it looks like she didn't really know about the story of her grandfather until she had to do a research project, which I understand that veterans maybe don't like to talk about war, but maybe family members can talk about some, maybe not all the details, but some heroic events of what that person did, because I think it's important to recognize when someone did a brave and good deed. President Trump continued by saying, after they arrived at the prison camp, the German commander sent an order over the loudspeaker. The Jewish American soldiers were all told to step out of line during the roll call the next day. Knowing the terrible fate that would come to his Jewish comrades, Roddy immediately said, "We're not doing that." He sent orders to have every American step out of line with their Jewish brothers in arms. The next morning, 1,292 Americans stepped forward. The German commander stormed over to Roddy and said, "They cannot all be Jews." Roddy stared right back. He said, "We are all Jews here." At that point, the German put a gun to Roddy's head and demanded, "You will order the Jews to step forward immediately, or I will shoot you right now through the head." Roddy responded, "Major, you can shoot me, but you'll have to kill us all. That's something." The German turned red, got very angry, but put down his gun and walked away. So here we have Roddy, extremely brave circumstance where he actually was almost killed. So his granddaughter might not have been alive if this had happened. Extreme bravery from Roddy, defying the Nazi soldier, defying death by saying that you're going to have to kill us all if you want us to identify a Jewish soldier of ours. And looks like the German there had a bit of empathy. I'm not sure how to really determine that because he got angry and red, but put down the gun and walked away. So didn't kill Roddy, obviously. And as we continue on this story, we'll figure out if the Germans actually ended up killing any of the soldiers. Trump added, "Master Sergeant Edmonds saved 200 Jewish American soldiers that day. So proud to be Jewish and so proud of our country, Lauren. Thank you for being here today as we remember your grandfather's unbelievable and exceptional valor. Lauren, please stand up. Thank you very much." One of the 200 Jewish American soldiers who was saved that fateful day is Staff Sergeant Lester Tanner. Lester is now 96 years old, and he joins us here. And there was some applause in between the 96 years old statement and where he was there on that day. "Boy, you guys are looking very good." Trump concluded by saying, 96, Lester. You're really 96, Lester? I don't believe it. You're looking good. Thank you very much. Thank you also for your very noble service and for sharing this incredible story with the world. Thank you very much, Lester. The Battle of the Bulge was the last military offensive launched by Nazi Germany during World War II on the Western Front. The Nazis' goal in the 6-week military operation was to split Allied forces. As the Germans drove into the Ardennes, the Allied lines took on the appearance of a large bulge, giving rise to the battle's name. This is according to History.com. The battle proved to be the costliest ever fought by the U.S. Army, which suffered over 100,000 casualties. Again, Veterans Day, it's a huge day for anyone who is a veteran and anyone who will become a veteran. Again, thank you very much for your service. Such a brave thing to do, to go into the military, be a police officer, be a fighter, anything that puts your life in danger to help or save others. It's an incredibly heroic act, and I deeply applaud anyone who is currently in the military, anyone who is a veteran, or anyone who is in other forces that, again, risk their lives to save the lives, or at least protect the lives of innocent and other American people and civilians. But that's actually going to be it for today's episode. Again, trying to keep it a little bit shorter. Hopefully, more audience members can continue to listen to the entire podcast. Making it a little bit shorter might be more persuasive. But again, thank you very much for tuning in to today's episode, and I'll go ahead and see you tomorrow. My name is Sebastian Giraldo, and you are listening to The Giraldo Show.